Class, we were working with box and whisker plots, okay? So right at this picture, we're looking at our 5-number summary. A 5-number summary includes 5 numbers. They are. Lower extreme, okay, the lowest number in your data set, that's your first number in your 5-number summary. Your lower quartile or quartile 1 is anything lower than your median, the center number of the lower set of data set, okay? So smaller than your median. So it has to be smaller than 82. Your median is the center number of your whole entire data set, and then your upper quartile or quartile 3 is the center number of your upper half, anything larger than 82, okay? And then your final number is the maximum number in your data set or the upper extreme. That is your 5-number summary. So let's kind of look at a better way to find a lower quartile or your upper quartile and your median, okay? So this top part, we are looking at if you have an odd number of data sets, you're just going to find those center numbers, okay? So the median in this upper half, or this top part, is 5. The lower quartile is going to be the center number of 3, 4, and 4, which is 4. And the upper quartile is going to be the center number of 6, 7, and 8, which is 7, okay? So now let's think about it if we have an even number of data sets, okay? So our middle two numbers in this data set to find the median is 5 and 6. So what we have to do is we actually have to add these numbers together. So 5 plus 6 is 7 or 11. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So our median in this data set is 5.5. Now to find the median of the lower quartile, you are actually going to add up or find the center of everything lower than 5.5. So we will include 5. So take out 5, take out 3. The center two numbers are 4 and 4. So add 4 and 4 together, divide that by 2, and your median for the lower quartile is 4. The upper quartile, again, we're going to include 6 because we're going to look at any number that's higher than 5.5. So take out 6, take out 9, add up 7 and 8, divide that by 2, and your median for the upper quartile is 7.5. Okay? That is how you solve it if you have an odd number or an even number data set. Okay, so the upper half in this slide is what I just said in words. Now let's think about how we look at a box and whisker plot. How do we create it? Okay, so you put a box in between your quartiles. So you put a box between your quartile 1, your quartile 3, and then you draw a center line that goes through your median or your quartile 2. And then your whiskers are expanding out to your lowest number, your lowest extreme, and your upper extreme, or your maximum number, the largest number in your data set. And that is how you create a box and whisker plot. And so if we're looking at this and how to interpret a box and whisker plot, is it gives us a better way to look at a data set that's spread out. We could easily look at this and know where our data set is. So if we're looking at this, we know that the larger box here, the upper quartile, is showing about half of our data. And the smaller box is showing about 1/4 of our data. And then we also know that each whisker represents about 1/4 of the data as well. Okay, so both of these whiskers here are representing about 1/4 of our data. Okay, so these are just another way to look at it. So our median here is 12, our lowest number is 3, and our highest number is 21. Our upper quartile or quartile 3 is 16, and the lower quartile or quartile 1 is looking at about 9.5. Right? And then we can also look at this and say, okay, we have 1/4 of our data in this lower whisker, we have 1/4 of our data in this upper whisker, and then of course we have the rest of our data inside of these quartiles. Okay, now let's look at our outliers. In order to find an outlier, our outliers in a box and whisker plot or 5-number summary is first you have to arrange your data in order, so from smallest to greatest. Number 2, you have to calculate your first quartile or lowest quartile, and your third quartile or your upper quartile. So this is excluding your median. You're not looking at quartile 3 or quartile 2. And then you're going to find the interquartile range. And how you do that is you take the difference between quartile 3 and quartile 1. So quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Just know you're taking the largest numbers and you're subtracting it from the smaller number. Compute. And then once you have that, you're going to compute. So you're going to take quartile 1, the smallest number, and subtract it from 1.5 and multiply it to your interquartile range. So just know the smallest number you're subtracting, quartile 3, you're adding 1.5 and you're dividing by your interquartile range. That is how you find outliers. So anything below the value found in number 2 or above the value found in number 3 is going to consider outliers. Okay, I want you to go ahead and figure out the bottom question here, and then you can do the rest of the problems on your own.